Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. It's always a wonderful day to get a chance to read the beautiful words of Quo. Today we're talking about the spirit of joy amongst a variety of additional questions. This particular channeling that we start off with comes on February 15th, 2023. And they ask if spirit is linked to joy and the nature of joy and its existence, how it is in the spiritual field. And it is a discussion of spirit. Quo is a group of higher density beings that answer questions in channelings through LL research. There is a long and beautiful history of Quo channelings that you can find at llresearch.org. These channelings are next level. I find that they are incredibly well put together. They have incredible integrity to them compared to other channelings. I resonate with the source of these channelings and the message that they have. This channeling was delivered on February 15th, 2023. Group question: is what Ra calls the spirit complex linked to joy? Not the seeming joy of achieving a desired outcome or circumstance going one's way, but the joy of existence, such that the more true the joy, the stronger the spirit field. Is the spirit channel linked also to awareness of the present moment, such that the more one is aware in the present moment, the stronger that field? Can you speak to the experience of the spirit complex? Jim channeling. I am Quo. And with this instrument at this time, we are most honored to be called to your group again this evening in order to respond to the query which you have asked, a query which is most salient in each seeker's journey. Before we begin, we would ask you, as always, to be able to use your own discrimination when you listen to the words and the concepts we have to share, so that what seems valuable to you in your journey at this time may be used as you will, and what seems of no value at this time, that you may leave it behind without a second thought. As you know, this gives us more freedom in our response, so that you do not look at us as those who have any type of ultimate authority. This is a path we both travel, you and we, for we are one in this journey of seeking love and light, and we are honored to be able to share what we have found on our journey with you. Tonight, you ask about the spirit portion of your mind-body-spirit complex, and how it might be seen as that which partakes more fully and freely of what you call joy. The joy of being, the joy of knowing your connection to the one infinite creator, the joy of knowing your connection with all your brothers and sisters within the third density, who are also manifestations of the one infinite creator. This is a kind of knowing that comes from the heart of your being, that is connected to the love of the one infinite creator, that has created the universe around you out of its love, focused into light. Your spirit is that which partakes of the nature of creation as being a portion of the one creator. Your spirit complex is that which is the least distorted of your mind, body, and spirit, that which partakes then of the unity of all creation more fully. This type of spirit that you feel and know to be the heart of your being is that which you are expressing when you feel the experience of joy. The joy that all is one, that you are part of that oneness, of that unity in every moment of your existence. This type of knowing of joy could be seen as an expression of what you would call ecstasy, so that you are realizing more and more of your true nature in every moment, that you feel the experience of unity, of love, of light, of the Creator being everywhere around you, within you and without you. There is nothing but the one Creator, and to know that in any degree, in any time period, as you would call it, is that which is most fulfilling. For we know this as the nature of our own being as well. We are as you, experiencing the Spirit as being the very heart of our being, so that we are able to rejoice and feel the joy of being enhanced and being multiplied in the pleasure, the joy, the knowledge, the experience of our own being, which is the being of the Creator. There's so much that can be felt in the various layers of joy, the various levels of realization of the unity with the one Creator that has been since time began and before and shall be, since any time expiration in which you would call your future. This is the state of being at all times, and each spiritual seeker has the opportunity as it travels a spiritual journey to feel more and more of this joyful nature of the one Creator existing within the self and within all other selves and within all of the creation about one. This is something that is always true in the present moment, in the past, in the future. All moments become the present moment as one experiences this feeling of joy. At this time, we would transfer the contact to the one known as Austin. We are those of Quo. I am Quo and am now with this instrument. We join this circle in joy, and it is joy that we find in the hearts of those present, particularly as a group such as this performs the necessary tuning to correct with us and maintain this contact, and even more so in the diligent practice of the challenging process that each instrument here performs prior to allowing the full connection of this contact. This process can be related to joy, in that it is an essential and true and deep alignment of the self with a greater purpose, and with an extreme, powerful expression of personal will to reach upward and to connect to something larger and more essential, ultimately in service to the one infinite Creator. It is in this context that the joy that relates to the spirit complex can be understood. But we find it appropriate to explore the notion of joy as it manifests within your third density illusion. For the notion of joy and the word may take on many various meanings and be understood and experienced by different entities in different ways. And so connecting this varying understanding and experience of joy to the essential joy of the spirit complex as described within the query can be a fruitful exploration for the seeker within your illusion. As the seeker considers joy and the experiences of joy within one's own life pattern and life experience, what moments stand out as those of joy? What moments contain the highest experience of this simple yet essential emotion or experience, as you may describe it? We witness that for many people within your illusion, the experience of joy can seem fleeting. There is a great variety of catalyst to be had, particularly within your current illusion. And an experience of joy may only last for moments before it is replaced by an experience of sorrow, of longing, of contentment, of any variety of complex and difficult or harmonious internal experiences. This is the nature of the illusion and the nature of your mind-body-spirit complex as it attempts to navigate the hurricane of myriad energies that surround the individual in any moment upon your planet at this time. You have your own complex system of energies that expresses itself within the mind-body-spirit complex, and it is the distortion and bias of these energies that causes the fleeting experience of joy or sorrow, or any other named or unnamed emotional or essential experience. These experiences may seem temporary, and it is the great work of the seeker to come to understand the nature of these impermanent experiences and seek deeper to that which is permanent, and which all of these impermanent forms and experiences arise out of. But we do not wish to dismiss such experiences as less important or less vital to the seeker, for it is indeed the purpose of your existence here within the illusion to move through these experiences and to come to understand them and to witness them within your being with a full awareness of heart and mind. This is a long and difficult journey for many, and we would encourage each seeker as they consider the value of both seemingly positive and negative experiences, that the joy found within the expression of something like a flower is not necessarily diminished due to the flower blooming and dying within the passing of a season, though there is a journey of emotion in witnessing such an event, and a seeming increase of joy as the flower manifests into its full beauty within the illusion, then a sense of sorrow and loss as the flower dies and withers and passes. It is the underlying aspect of this dynamic that the seeker is attempting to grasp. The understanding that the potential of the flower and the manifestation of this potential all takes place within the light and the love of the Creator that can never be diminished and can never be lost. And so we find an appropriate question may be, what is the relationship between these fleeting moments of joy and the essential joy that can be found in the grasping of the true nature of the Creator within the creation? If the seeker considers those moments of fleeting joy, one may come to realize that this joy was brought upon by an alignment of circumstances with the desire of the entity. And in this alignment, there is a release or a tapping within the potential of the creation that allows for a flow of energy that is the experience of joy. And then, once these circumstances shift and are no longer in alignment with the desire of the entity, then the joy becomes fleeting. And this is where the essential difference of fleeting joy and essential joy is relevant to the journey of the seeker. For it is the desire and the will of the seeker that allows for the mind-body-spirit complex to connect and align with the perfection of the spirit complex itself in order to tap into that essential shuttle or gateway that allows for the experience of the Creator to be touched and manifested within the being as joy. This is done through the making of the essential choice within the third density of service to others or service to self. For before this choice is made, the desire of the entity may be based upon the whims of the personal distortions, the personal biases, many of which were chosen by the entity prior to incarnating, some of which were adopted by the entity subsequent to incarnating, but ultimately all intended to deliver catalyst to the entity so that the experience of this catalyst could be distilled into the option of making this essential choice. And once this entity makes the choice and dedicates the self to that choice, the nature of the creation itself shifts within the entity and about the entity, so that as the choice is reiterated within the entity's being and through the entity's actions, this desire grows and becomes more and more innate and becomes that which is in alignment with the essential nature of the spirit complex. The desire of the entity upon making this choice is ultimately simply the service to others. In other words, an attempt to align oneself with the joy and the peace and the harmony of the one infinite Creator, and to allow this alignment to move the entity within the creation so that these aspects of the Creator shine through the entity seamlessly and allow the entity to influence and transform the nature of creation about them. And it is through this choice and this alignment of desire that the joy that is related to the spirit complex discussed within the query for the circle truly becomes manifest. At this time, we would take leave of this instrument and transfer the contact to the one known as Trish. We are Quo. We are those of Quo. And we are now with this instrument, as has been so eloquently channeled through the previous two instruments. There is a divine and close relationship between the expression or sensation of joy and the manifestation and full embodiment of the portion of the self known as the spirit. The spirit is almost boundless in a sense, much like the expression and feeling of joy. The feeling of lack of separation, the feeling of oneness. Consider times when you heard the expression of the word spirit. Think about what emotions or images come up. It is not by coincidence that spirit, as it is seen by many in third density, is at times indescribable without form. That is free-flowing, that it is everywhere, that it runs underneath and through all of experience. Therefore, that coincidence, we would say, of the description or ways your people see the term spirit manifesting is in alignment with how joy is experienced or expressed. It may be bound on either end by catalyst, but in presence, in the moment of experience, joy is boundless. We would say that the very experience or ability to be present is an extension of this feeling of joy, of this full embodiment of spirit. For with true presence, one is able to see more clearly without the walls that separate self from other self, self from environment, self from portions of self, and ultimately, spirit is one in the same. Spirit is without separation. Spirit is all. Spirit does not recognize classification or identification. Spirit simply is. So as one is able to find or practice more moments of presence, moments where existence is seen for what it is, the beautiful illusion, then one can more fully tap that boundless joy and that bountiful store of spirit that is available to all. Through this instrument, we are reminded that the term spirit can take on a meaning of bravery or resilience to your peoples, for whom we feel that is a beautiful and important aspect of the development of the spirit on the spiritual level as well. For it is through that element of bravery which you call faith, that resiliency which you call will, that one is able to see the truth in the creation. It is through bravery and resilience that one is able to connect more deeply to the unity and the oneness. It is through that bravery and resilience that one may feel unencumbered and completely secure in the worthiness, the rightness, the beauty of being present, of letting go of the various ways your peoples distinguish self from other self. So in the ability to practice presence, we would humbly suggest that one also practice those other components of spirit, that of open-hearted bravery, the releasing of fear, and loving resilience, the ability to accept and love all that the self encounters. True presence, true expression of spirit, true joy, all stem, all funnel into that realization of rightness, of unity, of oneness, of realization of that which is greater than this illusion. We would add one final thought, one final piece through this instrument as to the nature and development of the spirit, and that would be the realization of freedom. Now, being that the spirit is always and ever available, always in motion, never far, and without bounds, when self can recognize that freedom, one may feel less closed in, less claustrophobic, less restricted in the way self tends to self, the way one views self, the way one treats oneself. That freedom allows more space to truly dive deep, to know this greater part of self, that avenue which connects self to the one creator, that clear channel of joy, that beautiful walk towards love and light that has no end and no beginning, that simply exists. This instrument is feeling humorously insecure and would like to speak on her own behalf by saying she wishes she could have said what the guy said to the previous two instruments. But we will leave our contact with her at this time, recognizing her true intentions and abilities to channel our thoughts and words, and with a gentle touch blessing her as we transfer our contact to the one known as Gary. We are those of Quo. We are those known to you as the Principle of Quo, and we once again greet this circle in and through this instrument who, following the challenging, is seeking to make himself maximally open to us within his limitations and configurations, having wondered what more there is to channel on this subject that was spoken to at such depth, with such, in this instrument's mind, brilliance. But we would say that the seeking, the experience, the study of the spirit complex is one in which you, in the third density illusion, are only just beginning. The living out of the spirit is the walking of the royal road that will carry the third density consciousness into the fourth density, into the experience of the social memory complex, into the deepening experience of the creator within self, within other self, and into the next density and the next, until eventually the seeking and the gravity are such that there is a dissolution or release of the last subtle vestiges of what was considered to be something distinct from the all. But the seventh density, as it is known to you, is not for your consideration right now, as you, our brothers and sisters, have the special privilege and cross to bear of the third density experience. And you, who have become spiritual seekers, as you term it, understand, so to speak, on a variety of levels, from philosophical to intuitive, to the hints that being makes available to one, that there is more, that things are not as they seem, that there is a truth to be sought, there is an identity to be discovered, that one can come to know by way of not knowing that which made the self, that which is the self and is all things. No component of the individual or the group within the three threads of the mind, the body, and the spirit can be removed. But it is that spirit that is that linking factor to that deeper awareness. as communicated previously. That awareness is not a time-bound awareness. Though creation and destruction, the rise and fall of phenomenon, the changing seasons and passing scenes unfold, emerge, arise, and fall again within the field of that awareness. The awareness that is forever present and forever eternal. There are various layers of purity and totality to the experience of that awareness, which can be followed down to the ground of the being. But that awareness will not be discovered with a fixation upon future, as it is experienced in your consciousness or attachment to the past, but can only be tapped into by the conscious directing of the attention to the eternal present moment, that which is always now, whether the self experiences itself in the middle of third density or fifth, in suffering or unhappiness, and in bringing the attention in the heart, in the awareness to the now. One is activating and alerting and awakening the spirit complex, for it is through that channel that awareness of infinity trickles and transmits down into the self, so that the self may, from its seeming vantage point, partake of that eternal awareness. But to be present, this for those who seek it, poses a challenge, as those who seek it know, for the mind and the body are in turmoil, are in disturbance, or in oscillation, or in motion of various kinds that are time-bound, that are space-bound, that are object and form-bound, such that this straight and narrow channel at the center of the, you might say, spherical spectrum of experience necessitates that great work be undertaken upon those aspects of self you call mind and you call body, that may harmonize, that may blend, that may quiet and surrender to the central awareness. It is this work with mind and body which we have sought to lend inspiration in your processes, in our long experience of seeking to serve those of this planet. And central to that work are those concepts with which you will be quite familiar. It is only the mind and the body that has come to be known and loved, forgiven and accepted, that can inch its way toward the central awareness, this central channel within the self. It is only this mind and body that has learned to discern, through the distillation of catalysts, that which doesn't serve life, that which is the perpetuation of illusion, that which is circular or dead end, or that which lovingly needs release in service to something higher. In the model of the chakras, it is an untangling of the knots and releasing of the blockage that energy may move higher. That is a healing of the self. That is letting go of the, without negative connotation, lower desires. And as mind and body are rendered humble servants, allies, integrated back into the self, disciplined, not wayward, not, shall we say, causing undue trouble for the self, then the work of spirit commences and continues. And the joy contained within that work with spirit, the joy that floods through that channel into the self, is that joy which may manifest as sensation, but is not sensation, that joy that may uplift and illuminate the thoughts, but is not thought. It is that which is alive and vibrating with the original vibration, the original thought, experienced by you, the microcosm of the macrocosm, the whole. You become carriers of this original vibration by your very being, resonating that which lives at the core of those about you, mired as they may be in their own inner dreams and illusions, unaware that they are dreaming, and that they and all things are contained within the one mind of the one Creator, that indeed each of you is a thought in the mind of the Creator. This joy is living. This joy is self-luminous, and it is indeed tied, you might say, to the present, and it is available and present even when suffering is present, so long as the entity has, through discipline and likely, though not necessarily, a long road of work in using catalyst, established that channel within the self. It does take work. It is innate to the self. One can neither gain nor remove the spirit complex. But for that opening of spirit, the work upon the self, a great deal of it is typically required. The mind and body are not often born into this world in an integrated, focused, and disciplined configuration. It is only through the sustained exercise of will and faith, and the application of the practices of healing, of loving and forgiving, that the mind and body make way for spirit. And the deeper the work goes, the stronger becomes that channel. The more that becomes available to the self, the more that the mind and body become infused with spirit, such that, as we were describing previously, that alignment makes of the self an instrument for the one. The former layers of personal will emanating or arising from the lower chakras are no longer that which is propelling the entity or giving direction. Rather, the entity moves according to that which prompts the self within the silence of the present moment, moves according to that which is needed in the present moment, living each moment as it is without obsession upon the stream of time and of becoming, because the self is embodying beingness, presence, aliveness, and oneness. These unfit words point to that home which you seek, that home which calls you in your dreams and at the base of your desires. However, shall we say, mutated or distorted or darkened a desire may become as it filters through that unhealed, unintegrated personality. It is through those processes of purification of that desire which reaching out for satisfaction or meaning or distraction or balm reveals that that desire is one of love. That desire, if traced down and merged into the various tributaries of desire within the self, merges and merges and merges, again back to the desire that set the infinite creation in motion, that being the desire of the creator of you to know itself, to know yourself. You are carrying out that desire right now, often in confused and erratic patterns, but seek love and seek love again. Know the light and appreciate the light. Trust the course that your life is on. Embrace the opportunities of this moment. Seek to make use of your catalyst, and you, my friends, will find a decreasing of that illusion of separation and an increasing of the lived and felt sense of oneness. Knowing that everywhere you turn, each thing which you come into contact, every aspect of your life, and all the lives that you could possibly experience is one other than this one. You are in it. You are it. You are the one. You are all the one. Accept this. Open your hearts and love this, and sing with the creation as the creation and the creator sing with you, and sing in praise of you and your journey, however far you may have wandered not from your space-time geographical home, but from your heart, our prodigal children. At this time, we thank this instrument, and we transfer our contact to the one known as Jim. We are those known to you as Quo. Jim channeling. I am Quo, and am once again with this instrument. We are very pleased with our ability to make known our thoughts to each instrument, and very pleased with each instrument's ability to perceive and transmit those thoughts. This is the nature of the telepathic contact that we have been so honored to be able to establish with each instrument over a brief period of what you call time. This is the way that we may also be of service to you, as you are of service to others, by channeling our thoughts to your queries. It is a way in which we each learn from you, as you learn from us. We thank you for your diligence and your joy in every moment for your channeling. At this time, we shall take our leave of this instrument and this group. We leave you as we found you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. We are known to you as those of Quo, Adonai, Vasu, Oracas. It's always interesting that when you listen to Quo, they are most profound with the most basic of questions. To seemingly talk about something like joy, well, geez, that sounds like it might be boring. But it comes to the very fundamental core of spirit and the ever-present eternal moment. When you have those moments where you are connected to the one Creator, there is joy. There's a feeling of joy. And unconsciously, intuitively, it feels as if this joy is connected to the Creator. And connecting to this joy seems to be a part of this process. And this is an interesting discussion of spirit and how it's linked to joy. It's interesting, there are other channelings on L Research website. They were talking about joy all the way back in the 80s. This has always been a fundamental part of their discussions. Now, we're not here to just experience joy all the time. You are not here to be joyful, but to make choices according to Quo. This is for which you came into this experience, to choose to serve either the self or the one infinite creator as seen in the faces of all those whom you meet. You can ask yourself, what causes joy within? But we're within this chemical body that's not connected to the spirit in the same way that you think. So our understandings of joy within a chemical third density body are probably different than that of a sixth density spiritual body. There's an interesting discussion of spirit and its nature and our connection to it through this channeling. As Ra initially taught us, we are instruments which are made up of mind, body, and spirit. And so in the first density, you create your body. And then in the second density, you start to form your mind. In the third density, you start to have your spirit. And we are mind, body, spirit complexes. Fourth density is a mind, body, spirit social memory complex. Each of these is a part of our own evolution. And our understandings of spirit are a key fundamental part of our awakening process. And joy seems to be the fundamental element with the spirit. So understanding and talking about the vital energies that create joy, or the joy that rushes through us as our energy centers are awakened, is an important concept to discuss. Are you feeling joy? If you're not, it may mean that you're not necessarily connected to the spirit in the proper way. And as is implied, you can find that connection to the joy at any time in the present moment. And that is the lesson we're all learning. As Quo teaches us from a 1989 session, the key to joy is the realization that you are an imperishable being. You are a being which is love and is called to love. The Creator created each out of love and placed within each free will and itself. You are moving through the disciplining of your own free will, and that disciplining must be done freely. The choice is your own in order for that joy, which underlies all things, to begin to bubble up into the life experience. I'm imagining love and light for all that are listening, hoping that these words vibrate with you as they do me. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. Check out my art at www.newearth.art. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.